And welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning for our Workforce TeleStaff webinar series, session 4 on disaster deployment. And about JK Seva, we are recognized as a leader in workforce TeleStaff consulting services. We have consultants who have worked in police, fire, EMS, and other city and public safety jobs. JK Seva has expertise in implementations, upgrades, product enhancements, automation rollout, disaster planning, custom reporting, including BERT reporting, integrations and interfaces, and enhanced training options. For more information, please visit our website at jkseva.com. My name is Emily. I'm the relationship manager here at JK Seva. We also have Bill Mitchell. He's the president here at JK Seva, and he's been working in ERP and workforce management for over 20 years, and he will be helping us close out the presentation today. We also have James Waring. He is our guest speaker today. He has 31 years of fire and EMS experience and has served all ranks from firefighter, paramedic, flight medic, fire lieutenant up to operations supervisor. He's also a public safety scheduling coordinator. He has been a TeleStaff user since 2003 and the scheduling coordinator while in various departments. And at this time, you're probably familiar with TeleStaff, so we will get started right away. And I will hand this off to James.
Thank you, Emily. Today, we're going to discuss the different types of disaster deployments. In today's society, you see in all the news and everything, it's kind of unstable. So we're going to be handling, different events that occur and that will impact our various departments in one way or the other. The most common, of course, being disaster, where we're going to have to deploy multiple units that we normally don't don't deploy every day. The first we're going to talk about is the preset deployment. This is normally for like large-scale natural disasters, whether they're coming, for example, like a hurricane, or example of a large earthquake or a flood, something that's going to be not just a couple-day event, but it's going to be a long-range event where you're going to have your preparation stage, you're going to have your event stage, and it's going to follow up with a very long recovery stage. And in these deployments, what you're going to do within your system in the institution area of your program is you're going to build a station that's going to be, as you see here, like a hurricane event. We're going to build an event and have everything already preset, pre-deployed, all positions already pre-built for a large scale incident. When we build these things and it comes time that you need to activate it, you'll simply enable the event and it will start appearing and populating on your schedules and rosters. When this happens, it's going to allow your people, if you choose so, to sign up for the event and sign up for where you want them to be or where they want to be. And it's also going to be one of your best options for a large-scale disaster deployment because you can put it anywhere on your roster. You can put it at the top, you can put it at the bottom, in the middle, doesn't matter. You can choose and have it customized where you would like it placed. In the meantime, when you don't have these disasters, that's why we have it disabled so it doesn't clutter up your roster and you have to sit there and look at it all the time because they can be quite large depending on the size of your department. For example, my current department, we have 17 units and we don't want to have 17 extra units showing up on the schedule because when we go into a hurricane deployment mode, we go into a 12-hour rotation instead of our normal 24. Now, the other type of unit that we're going to talk about is your pre-built reserve units. These are for, they're coming. You have all these extra reserve units built. For example, you have your normal Rescue 21, Rescue 22, Rescue 23, but in times of disaster or in times that you need to put extra units on the road due to peak demands, you'll have Rescue 121, a Rescue 222, a Rescue 223 something to that effect, where you have your extra units built. These units are, when you build them, you're going to have to describe them as a special deployed unit. And they're going to be very easily to be accessed through your roster when you do a normal deploy. When you go to and build these units, you go to your normal deploy. When you click on underneath this particular unit, doesn't matter which unit, any unit, you're going to click on the unit and click on deploy, and it's going to bring up this screen. And you can see here the pre-unit's already built, engine 63. And we already have it built with positions assigned to it, as you can see down at the bottom left of the screenshot that's in place. And so you can choose to either have, you can have your captain, you can have driver engineer, you can have firefighter 1, 2, 3, or 4, however many that you have pre-built into the system. When you pre-build these units, it's going to be very important that you select where we have the arrow shooting, positions specified during deploy. This allows the units to stay hidden. You don't see them all the time, but they're going to be hidden. They're already pre-built with everything that you have in your system. All your positions are already able to be populated at a moment's notice. When these are done and they pop in, where you have them placed, and when you build them into the institution, where you have them, what station they're coming out of, etc., that's where they're going to populate onto the roster. So for example, you have Rescue 21. All right, we have an event going on. We don't know if we're going to need extra units or not. So let's go ahead and bring up another unit, see if we get some people to fill it or not. We would go ahead and deploy that unit. It'll show up under Station 21 as Rescue 121. And this will allow your personnel to sign up for it if they choose so or not. Now, sometimes not all your units, you're going to have a pre-built number of people that you want to take. You know, we can only fit so many people on an ambulance, so many people in a squad car, so many people on an engine. Now, for a large scale deployment like California saw this year with the wildfires that Florida saw in 98 and 2008, where you can have a large scale deployment of personnel, but it's not really going to matter where they're at, but you just need, you know, a unit with a large scale, like a wildfire deployment team or special attack team or strike force or what you're going to call it. So these, you need to have the flexibility to add multiple positions and nothing that's predefined, because you never know. Hey, today we're just going to do mop-up stage of this head number, you know, whatever complex that the fire's at. And, you know, on this day, you know, we're going to be doing a primary attack. We're calling in extra people. I'm not going to sit there and have time to plug and play into every different, you know, extra position built on a unit. Here, I can just click on deploy and bring up however many positions I need. And so when you have these positions, all you're going to do is build the unit out to the station area of your institution tree. And you're just going to leave your positions blank. And when you do this, the first thing you need to do is make sure that the unit has that check mark under the position specified during deployment. This way, it's going to stay hidden when it needs to, but it's available when you're ready to go into a deployment mode. You'll see on the next screen, we're going to have the station built, or once we have that unit built, you'll see that little E that's beside the unit name. That means it's expandable to however many people that you want in it. And so when you select that unit that has the E, you'll see at the bottom it has quantity, position, specialties. So now you're able to specialize on what kind of people that you want for the position, or however many you need, however many lieutenants you need, however many executive officers you need, or just how many line firefighters that you need. When this is also done, you can mix and match. So you can have, you know, 2 lieutenants, 4 driver engineers, 20 firefighters. You can put as many different positions that you want. You can just keep building it out as far as you need to, depending on the situation. Now, this also works well for large-scale special events. You can just have a plain unit and say, We're going to do, the state fair standby, and we're going to need, multiple people here and there. We just need a cluster of people. You can do the same thing. You just have the pre-built unit. You can call it special event and just have it where there's no positions assigned to it. That way you can come in and build the positions that you want, make it a specialized just for that particular moment. And now we'll turn it over to Bill.
Well, thank you, James. And hopefully you guys have a better understanding of the disaster deployment, everything from large scale to small scale. You have the opportunity here, and to either do it yourself, and we recommend on a small scale, you can do it yourself, but there's a lot more involved on a large scale. So let us help you there. And hopefully this gives you some good information going forward. If you want to get in touch with us beyond our session here today, and you want to, for more questions, if we're not able to answer them, go ahead and hit the contact. Go ahead and email us at contact@jksava.com. And also, if you're interested in a demo or something like that, please, email us, sales team at jksava.com, and put in there the demo and what you want to have demo for this in particular. Same thing with the contact at jksava. Make sure you put in their disaster deployment. So on to the Q&A portion, and in the little notes here, or in the session, go ahead and put your questions in there. If you have any remaining questions right now in the chat window, and we'll go from there. So let's see if there's some questions coming in. In fact, yeah, here's one. James, we've got a question here. It says, how much time is involved building a unit on demand versus the pre-built disaster station?
Okay, the pre-built disaster station is going to take some time and some effort to build, because basically, for example, for one county, I built out a complete new deployment of their whole department. They had a whole different new station names. They had different rescue names. They went by sectors of the county, north, south, east, and west. And so if they were to try to do this individually, it could take them a couple of hours to build everything, get the right number of people in there, and try to get it all activated and correct on their rosters. And then it's going to clutter up the roster by using such a large scale individual deployment. Whereas in a preset deployment, all you will do is go in and enable your event or your station unit, and then it's going to automatically pre-populate on the roster. You already know what's going to look like. You know where it's going to be. And then all you have to do is either enable people to sign up for it, your employees to sign up for it, or you can start assigning people utilizing the drag and drop methods that you normally do for overtime or fill by rules. As well as once you get all these deployed or all these units onto your roster ready to go, you can also utilize an automation feature if you have one built, or we can assist you in building an automation feature to where it will start making phone calls and start asking people, hey, you want to work here, work here, work here. Or you can have a list set up where it puts people into their places automatically based on whatever criteria that you would like them placed. So it can either be time consuming if you want to do it the individual way, or once you have everything built, have a lot of time to build in the front of it. But then when you come time to use it, just a couple minutes of work, and the system will do it all for you.
Perfect. And if you want to know more about the automation aspect of that, we did a previous webinar, and you can go to jksava.com and look into our webinars for more details on that. Here's another question came in. Can I use my current configuration to add personnel?
Yes, you can. When you build your system, normally, for example, most agencies for fire departments, they'll have a 3-man engine. You have your officer, you have your driver engineer, and then you have your firefighter. Now, when you build your individual units, and then you start adding their positions, you can add like a firefighter number 2, firefighter number 3, number 4, and so on. And when you build them, there's a little section in the position build that you would click the box that says special deploy only. And this only becomes available when you need to deploy those extra positions. So just like in before with the big hurricane builds or something, do a little bit of work with pre-building everything in the beginning, so that way when it comes time that you need to deploy extra people on that unit, they're already there. You can go in, enable those positions, they'll appear, and you can either start placing them or have the system place personnel for you.
So there's one, I think, follow-up question on here. It looks like, so where will it appear on the roster?
Well, it depends. If you're going to add people to a unit, it's going to appear right with that unit. It's all going to stay nice together, clean, very easy to find, very easy to look at. For a large like hurricane deployment, it all depends on where you want to place it within your institution. When you're looking at your institution screen, it'll have, station 1, station 2, station 3, and then hurricane special event. Well, if you want, you can move that hurricane special event to the top of that list, and it's going to appear at the top of your roster. So that way, when something's coming and you enable your event, it's going to be the first thing that your employees are going to look at when they log into their system. And it's going to bring, it's going to have, all the pink bars that say, hey, we need these positions filled. It's going to attract their attention. And most employees know that when a hurricane's coming, you're not going to get a choice. You're going to work one of these days. And so it gives them an opportunity to start selecting their days, start putting time in for it, or depending on your policy or union bylaws, how it's going to be divvied up and divided amongst your employees.
Okay, there's one more question. I think this is going to probably do it for our questions. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but I'll let you answer the rest of it. So can I do this on my own, or do I need to have help? I think we kind of answered this, but I think it'd be better coming from you.
It's going to depend on how comfortable you are with the system. If you start putting in all these special units and you don't have the right boxes checked, you don't have everything checked, it's going to start appearing on places on your roster, and it's going to start giving your roster a very cluttered look to it. Not going to be very clean. As well as people can sit there and see, oh, there's an empty spot, start signing up for trucks that aren't going to be there. And then you have to go back and tell them, hey, your overtime's canceled because we're not putting that truck up. So it can be a little bit of a headache or a time-consuming event. Whereas if you are very comfortable with it, and you build them and you know exactly where to place the units, it'll give you a nice clean look. It'll be very efficient, and it'll allow your employees to navigate the roster and find where they're going to be and know where they're going to be in the future for those events.
And as a follow-up to that, I would recommend that we do that as a joint thing, because we'll be working with you if you to say, hey, this is where you can do your things, and then here's what we need. We can help you with this area. Kind of doing it together, kind of coming alongside. And I think that's probably the best use of that. Thanks, James, and thank you, everybody. If you have any additional questions that we didn't get to, please email contact@jksava.com. Put in the subject line disaster deployment, just so we know where this goes with, and then ask your question. We can follow up with you. And if you are interested in a workforce TeleStaff demo or need some help, please reach out to the sales team at jksava.com. And for more information, you can go to our website, jksava.com, to see other webinars that we've done. We also have some tips and tricks. So there's quite a bit of information there, and see how we can help you there. So thanks again. Bye-bye.